Yeah. So a warm good afternoon to one and all. This is Vishnu Verma, the lead corporate relations of SmartBridge, welcoming you to the webinar on insights of civil engineering as part of our webinar series, which we've been doing since 1 month long now. We are very excited to host you all on this very informative and interesting webinar where I'm sure that you guys will have a lot to learn and have a great knowledge sharing session. It's an absolute privilege. But before introducing our key speaker of the day, I would like to introduce and give a short brief about who we are as a company. So let me share you one screen, 1 second. So let me know if my screen and audio is visible and audible. And just put in the chat if everything is fine. Awesome. Yeah, so as you can see, SmartBridge is an edtech company. We've been founded in 2015. Our pure goal and motto is to build the next-gen talent pool for transforming industry. Our motto is to bridge the gap between academia and industry. That's what we've been trying to do since our inception. And we've been into hackathons, boot camps, be it 1 month long internship programs or a 1 year long career readiness program. We have all the ready applicable programs that can potentially upskill the students in the BTech on the emerging technologies, be it artificial intelligence, machine learning, IoT, RPA, VMware, and we've recently have taken up this core engineering branch courses as well. We've been coming up with programs for mechanical students and civil engineering students like this. So that's a short intro about our company. So I would like to also like just take 5 more minutes of your time and talk about the key difference that we're trying to bring into the market or into the upskillment that we're trying to do. So, okay, quick question to you all. So, do you all think, let me know if in pure honesty, if you all think that the current curriculum is sufficient to meet the industry standards? If you think yes or no, just mention it in the chat. Do you think if a person is ready to take up on the industry challenges right after his graduation? Yes or no? Put it in the chat, please. No. Okay, okay, awesome. Okay, cool. So that's a very good on your humility part. So let me know why do you think it is no? What is required? What is the gap? Tactical knowledge, update on proper skills. Okay, syllabus is not meeting. Okay, what we're learning is history as Sushma mentions it. Okay, field knowledge, excellent. That's right on the point. Yeah, that's true, guys. All the points that you're mentioning, those are absolutely right. And as an edtech company, we've been in this industry for more than 5 years, and our founder and CEO Amrinder Kattam, with his vast experience of being a BARC scientist, ex-BARC scientist, and starting this company, we've noticed key differences that can be bridged so that we can make a very good difference in the student's technological career. And there are two key main things. One is a project-based learning, and the second is the industry interaction. The project-based learning comes with the hands-on experience, practical knowledge, and all the other things that you mentioned. The industry interaction is another key factor where it is going to help a student in a lot of ways, because not able to keep up with what is happening in industry and what is required for industry standards is one main thing that students are falling far, because be it the placements or be it any off-full campus drives or anything, it is essential for anyone to know what is happening out there and to be equipped with ourselves to with what is happening and be equipped with the technologies and other knowledge and skills. So these are the two things that we've noticed, and these are the two things we've effectively trying to bridge through our online remote internship program and be it any other flagship programs that we generally do, be it hackathon, be it internship and everything. So, okay, as I've started, I would like to take this moment to discuss the remote summer internship program. And just 5 more minutes, guys, then we'll start the program. Again, we'll come back to the remote summer internship program at a later point of this webinar. Yeah. So what are the key things that we're discussing? So one more important collaborations to mention. We've been IBM EdTech partner for more than 2 years now. In 2019, we've been nominated as a VMware Regional IT Academy. We recently collaborated with IUCE, as you all know, which is a worldwide organization in publishing journals, technological papers, and publications. So we had a great summer internship program in 2019. So basically, summer internship program we do for 1 month physically last year, but this year the whole ball game is different, as you all know what is happening, and we are ready to tackle that challenge and successfully have launched a remote summer internship program, which is an online internship program, which has very key important features that are going to make a key difference. So we also have civil engineering based remote internship program, which I'm going to discuss in detail later on. So yeah, I'm going to fall back on this point later in the webinar. I think this is time for me to introduce you to the key speaker of the day. So guys, let me introduce to the key speaker. We have with us Mr. Sivaram Reddy, founder and CEO of LSB Temerity Infra Private Limited, well-qualified postgraduate civil structure engineer with 14 years of experience in the field of structural analysis and design. And he has very vast experience in power plants, cement, oil, gas, railway and highway bridges, and residential buildings, and well-equipped knowledge of Indian codes, international, British, European codes as well. He has 4 years of international work experience in Oman, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Singapore, and excellent teaching experience on START, Pro, and ETABS, academic, professional, and advanced modules. So without any further ado, I hereby hand over the stage to Mr. Sivaram Reddy, sir. We are honored to have you as a speaker. So over to you. Thank you. Sir, are you there? Hello?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Hello, Mr. Vishnu.
Good afternoon, sir. I wish you
good afternoon, Manandal.
Yeah,
I'm Sivaram Reddy here. Thank you so much, Mr. Vishnu, for explaining about this, about SmartBridge. And now we are going to talk about this insights of civil engineering. So before I'm going to start the session, anyways, Mr. Vishnu has already gathered the information, the basic information which is required to begin this session, right? Many people are coming, many people are attending this webinar from various parts of India, from Nepal and other parts of India, and India also, right? So before I'm going to start this session, the one thing that I would like to ask you is, can you please just introduce, please do not mention your names, just mention as BE or MTech students, or if you are a professor or assistant professor, just say faculty members or something else, so that I can make our session more effective. And also, you just please post a message in the chat box, just mentioning your current profession or your qualification. That would be easy for me to make my session very effective. Can you please post it? Just 1 or 2 minutes hardly. Yeah, most of the students are BTech students, BTech final years, BTech assistant professor, construction, BTech students, BTech third year, MTech, assistant professors. And is there any structural engineer? No, assistant professors, BTech. Most of the students are BTech. Yeah, thank you so much. BTech first year also, good. Yeah, you can stop it now. Thank you so much. And I realized from this text that most of you are BTech students only, very few are MTech students. And of course, there are few more assistants professors also here, right? Thank you so much for attending this webinar, right? The next thing is, what I would like to ask you is, have you really regretted for choosing civil engineering as your profession? Have you ever regretted for choosing civil engineering as your profession? If say yes, yes. No, no. No, somewhat. Yes, yes. No, no, not at all. No, yes also. Yeah, thank you. Right. I think 50% no, 50% yes. Agreed. Right. Okay. Then the next thing is, what do you really want to do with the civil engineering? I mean, what is your exactly aim? What is your aim? Just a type only government job, private, maybe working in abroad job or private job, government job, teaching field. You write something on it. Government job, construction, very good. Government jobs, business, fantastic. Entrepreneurship also, government job. Yes, government job, construction, yes, yes. Teaching, very fewly. I'm identifying very few responses as teaching. So structural engineers, yes, interior design engineers, private jobs, development activities for country, fine. Next, interiors, teaching, yes. Want to learn construction, research and teaching. Few are teaching, job purpose. Yeah, what kind of job? Business, teaching, establishing government structures. Yes, okay, thank you, thank you. So now I understand that some of you are not regretting for choosing the civil engineering as your profession, and some of you are more confident that you have intentionally chosen the civil engineering as your field. I appreciate both of you, no problem. And the next thing is the way your goal. What you want to do is most of you are interested to get this government job. Some of you are interested to get this private job. Some of you are interested to get into this structural engineering field. Some of you are interested to get into this construction. Some of you are interested to work as a professor, assistant professor, whatever. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for providing your responses. Agreed. Now, the thing is, before we are going to this discussion, we have got till dilemma, what kind of job it is. Good. Startup. Yes, entrepreneurship. So whatever you are now just sharing this information, I'm going to emphasize each and everything. Each and everything. How can we study it? What are the things that are confusing us? What is actually civil engineering is? What are the opportunities that are available? Right? So what should I need to do to test my skills? Or what are the skills that are required to reach my goal? Right? And what are the most opportunities? Right? There might be some of the occasions, I mean, in civil engineering, there are vast specializations available in it, but some of the specializations are having a very good demand. Some of the specializations are having some less demand to it. And even though when we are aiming to achieve something, yes, maybe to get settled in structural engineering field, we might be having some lack of skills, right? So we are going to discuss about all those opportunities available in the civil engineering, skills that are required, and how can we test our skills, and finally how to attain our goal also. And one more thing is very special and interesting topic is how to start our firm, or how can we start, how can we become a entrepreneur, right? What can we really do with the civil engineering? What can we really do with the civil engineering? Why are we not able to understand? Or how can we understand the insights of the civil engineering, right? We are going to now start in a minute hardly, right?
Please share your screen as well.
Yeah. I'm going to start our session. Right, sciences of the civil engineering. So I'm sure I'm ready here, and I'm from LSB Temerity Infra, as Mr. Vishnu has introduced me. And these are the contents that we are going to talk or discuss. The first thing is introduction to civil engineering, or introduction about civil engineering, and the specializations available in the civil engineering, opportunities in civil engineering, how to test one's skills to attain a goal, right? Anyway, you are mentioning you just now you had shared what you want to do with the civil engineering, maybe getting a government job or private jobs, whatever. So that is what also we are going to talk in how to test our skills to attain our goals, and then how to cultivate our skills also, right? The first thing is, first we must know about the civil engineering, then we must also know the specializations available in the civil engineering. Then we will be focusing on the opportunities available depending on the specializations available in the civil engineering, right? So once we can go to these first 3 points, introduction, specializations, and the opportunities, then we can talk about the skills that are required or that needs to be cultivated, right? Finally, and I know the very young generation is most focusing on and to become entrepreneur, right? So that is why I'm going to give additional information about this entrepreneurship in civil engineering, right? Okay, let me go to this next slide. Yes. I know not some of you, 50% of you are regretting for choosing this civil engineering as a profession or maybe as your qualification, right? Don't worry and don't think like this, right? So the civil engineering is in fact the oldest branch of engineering, very next to the military engineering, right? The first thing is, before we go or get into this opportunities or this skills or whatever it is that is related to civil engineering, we must first know the what is civil engineering is here, right? Once you can really know what exactly is civil engineering, then only we can have a, we can gain, and then we can change our, we can make our, we can change our perspective about civil engineering, right? So we know that it is the oldest branch of engineering and very next to the military engineering. So what do really, or what do civil engineers do? So civil engineers will do, or civil engineers are the professionals. So see here, civil engineering profession deal with analysis, design, construction, management, construction and maintenance of structural facilities such as buildings, bridges, dams, roads, etc. So many things, right? So now we understand it is a very oldest engineering branch of engineering. And the second thing is it is a professional. Engineering deals with analysis, design, construction, maintenance of infrastructure facilities, building, bridges, dams, and so on. So many things, right? Now, from this second statement, we must realize that we have a number of opportunities because it is dealing with this analysis and design, and in fact, it is dealing with this each and every material which is existing in the globe, you can say, right? It can be a concrete, it can be aluminum, it can be a glass, it can be a steel, it can be any kind of the material. So we are using all the types of the materials which are available on the ground or maybe in the globe, right? So it is dealing with this analysis and the design. Means we know that there are the opportunities for becoming a analysis and the design engineer, and of course construction and maintenance, right? So it means we are creating the structures before we are creating or before we are going to execute the buildings. We are performing the analysis and we are designing it. For time being, let us say analysis and design both are the same only. Time being, I'll definitely answer all your questions. Some of you are posting the questions. I'll let you know what is necessary now. I'll definitely respond to your questions also. So now we understand that the analysis and design is important. Time being, let us say these two are the same united words, analysis and design. This means we can have a very good demand for analysis and design. The next thing is construction, right? We will be designing the structures, we'll be analyzing the structures and designing it. What kind of the structures we analyze and design it? Or you can take any kind of the thing. You can take any activity which is there in the civil engineering, which will be usually having the same or common activities. Common activities means you can take a building, or you can take a bridge, or you can even take a road also, right? If I say, let me just start with the building. What do you want to do it? We want to build a structure or a building, right? So how can we build it? So same thing. It has some materials. It needs some resources, right? It can be a man resources and material resources. It needs. So for any activity or for constructing anything on the ground, we'll have a common activities involved for a civil engineer, right? For example, building needs to be constructed. So manpower, and then equipment and the professionals also are required. Professionals are also having this civil engineering background, like civil structural engineers, right? They will design it. Means in civil engineering, we have opportunities in analysis and design, the first thing. And the next thing is what is next? Construction it, right? Before we are going to construct it, what else is required? We also need to assess the construction cost, which is required for building a structure. It means who is going to really estimate the cost of the structure? Obviously, civil engineer. Means there are opportunities for a civil analysis, structural engineer. There are also opportunities for estimation engineers, right? Let us say that there are the opportunities available, right? One is analysis and design, nothing but is structural engineer. Second one is estimation engineers, and then the third one here is the construction of a building or construction of a structure. What is required for construction of a structure? Manpower, and this material, and then equipment, right? Let us say manpower also. Manpower skilled and unskilled also. Skilled means civil engineer again. Someone is posting a question. Sir, please give a reply. Can I work privately startup after becoming IAS? You can do it. You can do it. Mr. Syed Muhammad, you can do anything. And just give me some time. I'll just get back to your point also again. We will do that. Right, next is construction. For construction, materials are required, then skilled and unskilled are required. When I say skilled means civil engineering background people, means there are also opportunities available for a construction stage of a building, right? And then maintenance. See, we have constructed the building. Some of the civil engineers also need to deal or will have opportunities in maintenance of the buildings. We are executing the new buildings. We also will retrofit it, right? So first thing is constructing a new building. Second thing is or you can in between this retrofitting and the construction of building, we also have opportunities in maintenance facilities, right? So these are the common things, common activities. We can entitle these activities for building any kind of the structure. See, right? So there are the opportunities, similar opportunities in building construction. There are also similar opportunities available for the bridge construction. There are also the same opportunities for dam construction and then road also, right? So it means we can say we have opportunities in each and every area or in each and every building or the structure which is going to be constructed on the ground. Now we must feel proud that civil engineers are having enough opportunities comparatively others, enough opportunities comparatively other disciplines, right? So now we know it. So does this really mean that these are only the opportunities or these are only the things that are available in the civil engineering? When we have so much facilities or so much of opportunities, so many opportunities available here, then why are we not able to get them? Why are we not able to get them? Or then what else or what others are also available in the civil engineering field from which we can develop our skills or we can get this opportunity or we can utilize that opportunity, right? So there are next specializations, right? So whatever we have mentioned here are not just the opportunities available in the civil engineering. There are plenty of opportunities. But only thing is activities are very common. For any kind of the structure, you are going to deal with it. For constructing it, it requires structural engineering, it requires site engineers, it requires surveyors, it requires estimation costing engineers, it requires everybody, right? It requires everyone. The same kind of the phenomena is going to happen for other structures also, even for the dams also. What do you want? Same thing. You require site engineers, you require this design engineers, you require site engineers, you require structural engineers, you require estimation costing engineers, you require planning engineers, and everybody, right? So these are the common things that we can estimate, that we can expect or that we must know that are available for dealing any kind of the structure or any kind of the you can say buildings, right? Let me go to the next slide to talk about. Let me clear it. Right. In the previous slide, we know that there are the opportunities or there are the some professional things that are to be dealt, right? And these are the most important specializations available. It doesn't mean that civil engineering is having the limited specializations here. There are also other specializations, right? But let me just go through it. Just let me go through it. The first and foremost thing, usually everybody says or everybody talks about is structural engineering. Structural engineering in civil engineering, right? And the next one is construction management or the construction methodologies. You can say construction management, construction practice. And there is one more specialization, transportation, which is dealing with this any kind of the transportation. It can be a road, highways, and railways. It can be anything, right? And there is also one more specialization like geotechnical engineering, right? And there is one more specialization, irrigation and the hydrology, or you can say water resources, and then surveying and GIS, right? So these are all the specializations available in the civil engineering. When we have so many or vast specializations in the civil engineering, why do we need to regret? I feel something as we are not working in this situation. Right. Please stop posting messages here. Just let me complete it. I'll definitely start responding all your questions, right? And of course, Mr. Srinivas Rao is saying environmental engineering also. I agree with it. There are also other disciplines or other specializations available in civil engineering, right? Not this. As many as specializations are available in the civil engineering, we must realize that based on that, we must realize that there are plenty of opportunities available in it, right? So structural engineering, yes, we have n number of opportunities we can say, because there are the buildings and they are the type of the structure which are going to be being constructed already, and the structure whose life is about to complete, like the structure's life around, you can say temporary structure's life is 25 years, and other type of the structures maybe 50 years or 75 years, some of the structures 100 years, right? So there are the structures which are existing already, which needs retrofitting, also. So you can just get into this retrofitting concept also, retrofitting concept for strengthening the structures, right? So for this civil, this one for structural engineering, what is required for structural engineering? How can I get the structural engineering jobs? What type of the structure can I design if I want to become a structural engineer? And most of the civil engineers, used to think that structural engineering is nothing but dealing the structural analysis of a residential buildings or commercial buildings or hardly tall buildings, right? There are also different types of the structures. There are also different types of the structures existing in the industrial sector, right? Industrial sector means, right? Uh, you can say the thermal power plants, one of the industrial sectors, and cement plants, oil and gases. Oil and gas is one of the sectors, thermal power plant, and this you can even add this marine structures, airport structures. There are different types. You can say whatever you are just getting. I mean, whatever you are going to imagine the type of the structure which is existing on the ground. For every structure or for any kind of the structure has to be designed by a structural engineer only. Means there are n number of opportunities available in the structural engineering field. So you can just act as a structural engineer designing only the residential buildings, and some structural engineer deal with the only commercial buildings, some deal with the industrial structures, some deal with this marine structures. And even in the marine structure also, two types of the structures are there. The one is onshore structure, the second one is offshore structures also. It means there are different types of the facilities available, or the structures needs to be designed to meet the requirements of the industry, So now we can say, I'm not just going to degree this other specializations part of civil engineering. I'm just trying to letting you know the real fact or the demanding specializations available in civil engineering, right? The first one is structural engineering. Now I'm just once again repeating the conclusion of our discussion is there are n number of structural engineering jobs available because there are n number of different types of the structures, right? Don't always focus that we have to design only this residential buildings or commercial buildings. Structural engineer has to design any kind of the structures. Some occasions we need to design a specialized structures also available in thermal power plants, like you can say chimney design, this cooling tower designs. There are different types of the structures, right? And then construction management. See, the biggest, I cannot say it is a drawback, but for one more thing one has to notice in structural engineering is, in structural engineering, to design a structure hardly takes, if it is just normally kind of a residential building, depending on the complexity involved based on this architecture requirements, it can be designed hardly in 3 to 5 days, maybe once the architectural drawing is frozen. But of course, that is not the realistic condition happening in the market. However, it requires 1 week of time or less than 1 week of time for designing a structure. Agreed. It means the structure can be designed in a week of time. How about the execution of the same structure? How much time will it take to construct a building? Can you please respond? How much time does it take to build a structure or construct a structure? Maybe 3 floors building or 5 floors building. How much time does it require? 2 months, 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, 1.5 year? How much? 1 year, 6 months? Yes, 6 to 8 months. Yes, 1 year. Yes, 10 months maybe. Fine. Year, good. Yes. Just understand the concept here. For designing the same structure, it requires only five days to 1 week of time. Means when you are acting as a structural engineer, we have to play our role hardly a week of time, or otherwise during the construction, our presence might be required. During the construction, our presence might be required once or twice or thrice, hardly, right? We are going to end our role for a particular building in a very short time, very short time, right? But in the case of the construction of the same building, we know that it is going to last for almost minimum 6 months, right? So if you can build a structure 3/4 of the building in 6 months, definitely there is a good achievement. So at least it takes 8 months to 12 months or 8 months to 1 year, you can say, right? The same building, the same building which is to be constructed required 8 months to 1 year. So here we need to emphasize one thing, that the same civil engineering student or civil engineering background or qualified person who is interested to get into this construction management field will have at least 1 year job when they are assigned to build a construction. How many engineers are required for designing a one residential building? Only one engineer is more than sufficient. For designing one structure, one engineer is more than sufficient. For building a one construction, for constructing a one building, of course, it also requires only one engineer, but he is going to have a job for a period of at least 8 months to 1 year. So this is where we need to realize, or this is where we need to understand that construction management will have a more demand, not more demand, but the salaries would be different, of course. The effort that you need to put would also be different or significant, you can say, for construction management, right? So it is a small building. It is a small building which is going to provide a job for a civil engineering professional for 1 year, right? Who is eligible for this? Anyone can work on it. Diploma student, BTech student, MTech student, or MSc who has done MS from United States or from abroad education. Or does this really require MTech qualification or this PhD? Right? That is again the separate thing that we need to discuss, right? MBA in construction management. Yes, absolutely. Right? So that is what the difference in the structural engineering and then construction management. Structural engineer can design a structure in 5 days, hardly a week of time, maximum time for designing a structure. And I'm just taking an example of a kind of a residential building, 5 floors or something less than 5 floors, right? The same for constructing the same building, it requires 1 year of time, 8 months to 1 year of time, right? Here we have a long period to have our job so secured or to enjoy our job. Next, the transportation. The transportation, it can be roadways, it can be railways, it can be highways, railways, and waterways, airways also. Railways, waterways, airways, and then airways, highways, waterways, right? So here also, even for constructing it, the same thing what we had discussed in the previous slide, the same type of the responsibilities or the roles will be available or will be entitled to all kind of the specialization, including transportation. Let us take a road as an example, because most of us are more familiar with the roads, right? So for constructing a road, the same thing, it takes a long time, right? So it takes a long time for making a road, and even for the same thing for designing it. It takes less time. For constructing it or for making the road will also take a significant amount of the time. And of course, there is a huge development in the infrastructure facilities happening in our country, right? And I guess you might know that the railway total railway track length, I think it is 1.5 lakh kilometers or 2 kilometers length in India. India almost 1.5 lakh to 2 kilometers length of railway track is existing in India. Just now imagine that there are n number of bridges which are going to be modified or which are going to be retrofitted for railway bridges. The same thing is also going to happen for the road cases also, highways, right? When we are using these highways also, highway roads, and we also will come across we also will use the bridges, right? So highway bridges are there, railway bridges are also there. Railway cases itself, there are almost 2 lakh kilometers existing railway track is there in India, and there are n number of structures, means bridges. It can be a bridge, major bridge, or it can be important bridge, whatever the kind of the bridge it can be. There are the bridges existing are connected to this railway line, and those structures are now being modified or planning to be retrofitted. Means if you are more interested to get into the retrofitting field, yes, there are options or there are the opportunities available even in the retrofitting field also for transportation, right? How about this geotechnical engineering? What can we do with this geotechnical engineering? Whatever it is. So whatever the kind of it can be. I mean, if you want to design, even for the geotechnical, for transportation, for residential buildings or any kind of the structure, of course, all the structures are going to be in contact with the ground. in contact with the ground. So there is also a very huge demand for the geotechnical engineers, who are going to study or who are going to deal with this soil, right? Unless geotechnical engineers gives the soil profile or the properties of the soil, I'm sure the structural engineer, or it can be a structural engineer, or it can be a any engineer dealing with the designing of a structure. It can be transportation structures, it can be a buildings, right? Unless we get the information about the SBC details or the properties of this soil profile, we cannot design the structure. In fact, we cannot begin the construction of a building also. So it means, of course, there are less opportunities, slightly less opportunities available in the geotechnical engineering. However, it is also more important, right? It is also more important, or we can say that there are the opportunities available in the geotechnical engineering also. If you are interested in geotechnical engineering, definitely you will be enjoying this geotechnical engineering field, because you are going to study the soil properties, which is the base for keeping or for existing the building, or for constructing a building, or for laying the roads, or whatever it is, for runways, for airways, whatever it is, right? So geotechnical engineering also is having enough opportunities available, right? And then irrigation, then hydrology. Irrigation and hydrology. If you are more interested to deal with this hydrology or water resources engineering, and of course with this irrigation also, but our irrigation and the hydrology opportunities in the irrigation and hydrology would be mostly in the government sector. Irrigation, especially irrigation opportunities, would be mostly interlinked with the government sectors. In the government sectors only. Hydrology and water resources. Hydrology and the water resources. Usually this concept of hydrology or water resources concept is to be used for estimating the flow, for designing the bridges. Those bridges would be provided for railway tracks or highway tracks. And finally, what is required? Surveying and GIS, geographical information system, right? Surveying. And we know. So I'm going to strongly say you or tell you that the biggest advantage for civil engineering students is there are n number of opportunities available. Even if you are able to understand only one subject from civil engineering, I'm sure that you are going to lead your life well. Unlike other, I'm going to once again emphasize that. I'm going to repeat it. So in the civil engineering field or civil engineering, we must feel proud that even if you can know well about only one subject in civil engineering, that definitely takes us to reach a goal, or that definitely help us to lead a life very well. Means if you are interested only in civil surveying, fine, you can get a job in civil survey engineering. Only what matters here is first we must clear our goal. First we must know what is required to us. There are the opportunities already available in it, right? But the only thing is, if you are not well informed, the opportunities available in this engineering, we are here to help you. We are already explaining you. We will definitely be supporting you or helping you to just plan your career well, right? So in the case of the survey and GIS, right? So surveying, yes, there are opportunities, obviously. Why do we need to survey it? Why do we need to survey? There are acres, n number of acres, n number of plots are happening in almost any metropolitan city or any areas, right? Everywhere the surveying is the primary thing that requires before client is going to take the decision to construct a building or to construct any kind of the sector or industry, right? Some occasions, especially kind of a industrial for putting up a industry like the cement plants or power plants, it requires a huge area of the ground or huge area of the soil. Huge ground of the plot, you can say. All right, for such kind of areas, it is not easy. It is not easy to survey by using this conventional kind of the instruments. Here we require a total station or trembler, whatever it is. That kind of the equipments are required to survey larger areas for setting up the industrial plants, right? So that is going to happen with the surveying. If you are more interested or if you are more familiar with the surveying concepts, yes, there are opportunities available even in the surveying also, right? But only thing is, surveyor will be always, I should not say, but what I'm saying is, surveyor will be using very less engineering from civil engineering. As I had said, civil engineering is vast. It is having n number of specializations available or interconnected each other. However, the surveying is very slightly away from the main core of civil engineering, right? So surveyor has to survey the land or ground before commencing the project, or before setting up this sector, and they will just do it maybe hardly a month of time, done, that's it. Do you know? And when I was working for a reputed organization, we were planning, when organization was planning to set up a power plant in near to Vizag, Visakhapatnam, part of AP. All right. So the soil or the land required was almost 2,500 acres. 2,500 acres was a single piece of land that was required for setting up a plant. Just imagine how much time will it really require to execute it, right? Surveyor will take a period hardly 2 to 3 months of time for surveying it maximum. 2,500 acres, and then n number of surveyors will be given with the same task to survey the ground and give us the input details to a client for further necessary action, right? So surveys here are required for hardly 2 to 3 months, 2 to 3 months of time for surveying the ground of 2,500 acres of land, right? So once he is done with these activities, now he has to go for the next job on the same field. If one means a structural engineer means there are different types of the structures available in this thermal power plant. All those structures have to be designed. Those have to be proof checked. Those have to be estimated. Those have to be for those materials have to be purchased. Even there is a material engineer also available in the civil engineering who knows the properties of the material very well. And civil engineers also are having this opportunities even in that area where they can finalize the type of the material, where they can check this test of materials also, right? Even if you know, just forget about all this code engineering. Even if you are more familiar with the laboratory tests which are going to be conducted for testing the materials. It can be aggregate, it can be water, it can be sand, it can be steel, it can be concrete, whatever it is. Even if you are more familiar with the tests that are conducted for finding out the properties of the materials, yeah, the least thing you can do still is, I cannot say it is the least thing. See, it is up to us to utilize the opportunities which are there or existing in civil engineering. It doesn't mean that there are no opportunities available. There are a number of opportunities available in civil engineering. Only material strength of material slab, that also you can do it, right? So there are the opportunities available here, right? So survey will require 2 to 3 months of the time, and then the structural engineers will come into the picture for designing those structures, and for constructing those structure will take years of time together. So years of time together for almost 3.5 years, the minimum period we had estimated, and it was almost for 5 years, right? So what do you understand? What is the conclusion from our slide? The conclusion from our slide is there are n number of the specializations available in the civil engineering, and there are n number of opportunities also available in the civil engineering. And even if you can know, the only thing is we must know the demanding area available in the civil engineering. The first thing is what is making you more interested is one point, and the other way is what is that specialization is having more demand in civil engineering. That is the another point. Even if you are sometimes not interested to the demanding specialization, now to improve yourself financially well, and of course it is required, the efforts are required to get into this structural engineering or any kind of the specialization which is having more demand in civil engineering, right? Sometimes we will be more interested to deal with the environmental acts, right? To deal with the environmental acts. Okay, then you can go to this environmental engineering also. Means specializations we have, unlike other disciplines, we must remember or realize that there are n number of specializations available in the civil engineering, and there are n number of opportunities also available in the civil engineering. But only thing is, for few of the roles will last for a short period, and a few of them will last for Ankita is saying something. Could you give some brief ideas, opportunities in environmental engineering? Yes, I'll give you. I'll definitely give you this environmental engineering also. One of my professor was dealing only with this environmental engineering. And next is, what about any energy efficient building design opportunities in India? Yes. What? Yes. And what about the opportunities, the field of JS? Yes. The conclusion of our discussion is there are opportunities in each and every specialization. Each and every specialization of civil engineering. Only thing is we must realize what we require it. If you just know what is required to you, or if you can just fix up your goal in civil engineering, definitely you're going to get it, right? We don't need to blame our engineering, or we don't need to feel regretted for choosing this civil engineering field. Civil engineering is the oldest field, and I said it is the oldest field. When it is the oldest engineering, I'm sure that it is well built. It is still being built, and there are opportunities available in this, right? And JS also, geographical information system. Yes, there are the opportunities available in this, but only thing is depending on your qualification, depending on your desire. Send me the recording this session. Yes, me too, need it. Yeah, you can please contact SmartBridge. Yeah. Niranjan, is MTech necessary for civil engineering? So that is what I'm going to talk in the next slide. I just had explained about the specializations available and opportunities available in this. I'll explain you the remaining things that are required for the educational qualification skills that will be explained in the next slide. So once I am repeating it, the conclusion from this slide is specializations are very vast in civil engineering. Even if you are more interested to dealing, or even if you are if you are more connected, or if you are understanding one subject particularly very well, you can still get a job opportunity, or you can even start your own laboratory test, right? Laboratory test dealing with the materials, right? It can be for aggregate, it can be for steel, it can be for soil, it can be for concrete materials also. You can start your own lab. You don't need to always focus only on the core engineering of civil engineering, right? And of course, definitely there will be some consequences in the sense of results. Right. We already had spent enough time on the previous slide itself. We had spent enough time on the previous slide itself where I could explain. Someone is saying, please answer. Okay, let me just take a break for 5 minutes. Then I will be answering your questions. Yes. Just stay for a few minutes. Is MTech is necessary? Nowadays, it has become necessary. Niranjan, yes, it has become necessary. But yes, of course, I can suggest you to go ahead with the MTech. But only thing is, you always have to simultaneously improve your skills. Even when you are improving your educational standard or educational qualification, I strongly suggest you to improve your skills that are required to compete in the practical market or practical situations. Briefly about environmental impact assessment. Yes, Mr. Tangate Srinivas. Mr. Srinivas, yes, I'm not so familiar with this environmental impact assessment, but I'm sure that, as I had said, when we were planning, where our organization was planning to set up this industry, thermal power plant. So we also are required to get an environmental clearance certificate that we are not polluting. Means we, in the sense, this industry that is going to set up is not going to impact, or is not going to affect, or it is going to be constructed with the inline of environmental guidelines. So those areas, environmental engineers are more important. Environmental engineers are required for setting up any kind of the industry, right? When I say industry, civil engineering specializations are so interconnected, or well interconnected. Everyone needs another civil engineers support. Or if you start any kind of this industrial setup, then every civil engineer from all the specializations are required to build that. There is no limitation. See, for building a structure, a surveyor is required, structural engineer is required, site engineer is required, estimation engineer is required. So everybody is required. What else is not required? Maybe we can say maybe water resources engineer is not required, but there are specialized occasions where they have so much demand. Syed Muhammad, MTech versus MS. Yeah, MTech versus MS. Yes, it is up to you, but I don't think so. Now, I cannot recommend personally, as of now, I cannot recommend to do MS in abroad, because you know the effect of the COVID-19. I don't, anyway, the economy of the entire world is fall down. And I don't definitely think so that you'll be having enough opportunities in abroad when you are especially aiming to get into USA. So I strongly recommend to get into this MTech first. Please answer to my question, Mr. Rakesh. Mr. Rakesh Walkapo, answer my question, please. I did not go through your question. I'm sorry. There are Plenty of questions here. Which is the best country for doing MS in structural engineering? Yeah. Mr. Rakesh, as I had said, firstly, I in fact personally give the priority, second priority to MS at the current situation. Moreover, structural engineering, it doesn't mean that someone is having more knowledge maybe in the other countries. For sure, if you can do MS, structural engineering specialization in India, maybe IIT Kanpur, Kharagpur, or anywhere in India, I'm sure you are going to get, or you are going to settle very well in structural engineering. Please do not think that do not think that getting or gaining the knowledge or gaining this qualification from abroad only will help you. I cannot say like this. There are also the people who are paying the taxes, and in fact, the only thing is the slightly facilities are slightly different from India. That is what I can say, because based on my experience in abroad, I can strongly suggest you to focus first 3 to 5 years on gain first 3 to 5 years of experience from India only. If you want to earn money or if you want to settle well financially, then I can suggest you to get into these Gulf countries rather than going for this European countries or even to this USA. I strongly suggest you to gain at least 3 to 5 years of experience. I'm sure I'm going to repeat it again. I'm sure that it is very, very tough to get a abroad job if you have only 3 years of experience. Less than 3 years of experience, please undoubtedly believe me that you cannot get a job into abroad if you have a experience of less than 3 years. But at least if you have a 5 years of experience, I'm sure you'll get it. Even if you can make less efforts, or even if you can make less attempts, you'll definitely get a job into abroad, especially into the Gulf countries, when you gain at least 5 years of experience. Right? So please do not think that you will definitely, you will get a job or opportunities available in abroad when you can, based on your qualification itself. Even in those countries also, the students are there, means professionals are also there. They also need opportunities. Their citizens also studying civil engineering. They also require their jobs. So that is why we cannot give a competition. We cannot just give a competition as we think that we can do it. We can easily get into this abroad. Briefly about this is done. This is done. And just let me just go to this remaining slides. Briefly about impact, that is done. MS forms is done. Please respond is done. CAD is necessary. Muhammad, yes, CAD is also necessary, but only thing is, if you are studying BTech, please don't try to settle in the engineering this field. Don't try to get into this CAD operator job. Right? For the BTech students, I personally do not recommend to get into this unless you strongly believe that you have enough confidence on engineering. Right? Unless you have enough confidence in engineering, please do not get into this CAD field. Means CAD, of course, the CAD will be operated by these diploma civil engineering students, because that is fine with them. That qualification is sufficient. And if you are a BTech student, and if you are having a good score, and if you are having enough confidence on you, then fine. Please just try to skip this CAD. But I strongly suggest you to learn the softwares first. Learn the softwares. You need to understand how they are being useful, how those are most useful to a civil engineer. That's it. Just for knowing it, you just can learn it. But don't think that you are going to, don't think that you need to get settled only on this. Best country for doing in structural engineering, Rakesh, I said you, please don't focus on it now. Since we have enough opportunity, we have more professionals in India itself, please focus on MTech itself. Cost management in India or foreign, which is better? I'm really so sorry to say, why are we comparing with foreign countries with our education system available in India? Please do not compare. We are having enough resources. Try to please get a very authenticated information from your seniors or from your close relatives who are having civil engineering background, studying in abroad. Try to get it. I'm sure at least people who are traveling for abroad for studying in civil engineering are getting settled in software field. Personally, my friends, almost 60 to 70% of my friends who went to abroad for studying and specializing in civil engineering have got settled in software field. You please get the authenticated information from your close friends, from your seniors, or maybe from your close relatives. Those would be the right persons. And of course, I very strongly believe my words are correct. Ganesh Naidu, how was the career in civil software? Yes, obviously, now leading softwares are STAD, ETAPS, and MIDAS, depending on the type of the structure you are going to deal. There are n number of softwares. We know just the softwares are like STAD and ETAPS because most commonly these two are the popular software being used for designing any kind of the structure. So that is why most of us know that there are only two softwares. In fact, there are n number of, or at least I can say there are 5 more softwares available in civil engineering, like Midas, Struts, Strap, you can say even Tekla also for detailing especially, and the BIM software is also available. There are n number of softwares. Murali Krishna, Mr. Murali Krishna is answering to Pravalika. And sorry, there are AutoCAD, is AutoCAD necessary? Which country is the best for pursuing MS? Please, environmental engineering, CAD is necessary. And there are 45, I still need to. Australia is best for transportation engineering. So brought a lot of opportunity. Please, for timing, due to this COVID-19 effect, please rethink before you are getting into abroad. Sorry, someone is asking about this JS. Yes, there are less opportunities only for JS global. I mean, this information geographical information system, and there are slight. I mean, least importance, or we can say there is a less opportunities available in GIS field, right? Just let me. Yeah. Please let me just complete my it. I'll let me just complete hardly in half an hour. I think there are plenty of questions from your end, and then I can respond for a half an hour more, right? Just let me close it. Let me get back to these sessions. Yes, opportunities, as I had said, there are many opportunities available in the civil engineering based on the specialization, not just based on it. And there are also other parameters that are going to affect, like based on the specialization is one of the reasons where demanding opportunities available, and based on the qualification, what kind of the qualification we have, whether we are BTech student or you can say uh, undergraduate or postgraduate, based on that also there is a demand, or there is a possibility for getting the opportunities in civil engineering. And based on the experience, some of the engineering students also would have worked on would have had an experience of 2 to 3 years. So that kind of experience also most helpful to get the opportunities in civil engineering, right? Based on this, once the skills also, obviously opportunities are available or existing in civil engineering field. But only thing is we need to realize what we know, or we must realize what we have the skills, or we must realize where are our strengths. Skills are our strengths. Improve all your skills first. Improve your skills. How can we improve our skills? When one can decide what is required to him, then we will focus and be, in a sense, when one can focus on improving the skills that are required to get into this field, right? So opportunities in civil engineering are existing, but that is again depending on the specialization, depending on the qualification, depending on your previous experience, if you really have it, or one's skills also. Those skills are not always only the technical skills, like gaining, you can say, gaining the scoring well in the technical field, or sometimes, not sometimes, most of the occasions nowadays it is more important to have a non-technical skills also. You can say interpersonal skills or soft skills that are also equally very important to factor to get a job or to get a opportunity, right? Yes. Based on this sector also, what kind of the sector you are going to prefer, whether you're going to prefer government job and the private job. And some people are saying this is business. People who have chosen this, you can say this government job, government sector, private sector, or entrepreneurship, or you can say your own business. All right. So there are the opportunities. Why can't we say, I mean, why are we saying that there are no opportunities? There are opportunities. Specialization depends on specialization. Structural engineering or environmental engineering, surveying, geotechnical engineering, or transportation engineering, whatever it is. Yes, available. And the best possible qualification, whether you are a diploma civil engineering student or BTech student or MTech students. I strongly believe that most of you are from BTech only. At least 70 to 80% of students are from BTech background. I must be thankful to Mr. Murali Krishna, who is supporting me, responding to a few of your questions. Thank you so much, Mr. Murali Krishna. right? Based on the skills. So technical skills are there, non-technical skills are there. So from this slide, what I would like to emphasize or stress is, yes, to get into this opportunity. From the previous slide, we know opportunities are existing. So from this slide, those opportunities, or to get into these opportunities, we are now understanding that there are also other skills required to get into this civil engineering opportunities. Let me go to this. We will discuss more in detail about this government sectors, private sector, and entrepreneurship. So opportunities in civil engineering, especially based on the qualification, as I had said, qualification is also playing major role, and diplomas, the civil engineering students, these are the just recommended opportunities, or I can say, and the possibilities available based on the qualification. Please just look into this. Look into this. One second. Yes, public sector. You can say here we have a. You can just. You can even go to. You can even get the job into this NTPC, YIRCON, and then SAIL, BHEL. These are the public sectors. I mean, opportunities available. Sorry, not this. Sorry. Let me just go back to this previous slide. I'm sorry for it. Yes. Based on the qualification first. Based on the qualification, yes, diploma engineering students usually be working on this, usually working as a site engineer, on surveyors, and then drafting. And these are the major field or demanding opportunities available for a diploma and civil engineering students. And then BE or PTech students, of course, they can act as a structural engineer also. Don't think that you cannot, but there are more possibilities, or there are more opportunities for people having this PG qualification or MTech to act as a structural engineer, and there are slightly lesser possibilities available in BTech. And of course, I'm not saying that you cannot get job into this structural engineering field when you have a BTech or UG qualification. In fact, I started my career from BE only. Later on, I started studying. I did my part-time Tech, part-time ME from Usmania University, right? So there are, yes, of course, BTech qualified people can get this opportunity in structural engineering, no doubt, and then act as a site engineer also, no doubt. The biggest advantages for the people who are here, MTech and BTech, is you can exchange the opportunities. You can work on any field. You can work as a site engineer. Yes, it is the BTech qualification is neither too less nor too high. It is in between. Means it is graduates. Yes, you can get the opportunities. Structural engineering. Yes, you can. Site engineer. Yes, you can. Geotechnical engineering. It is slightly tough based on this BTech qualification. Slightly tough unless you are more specialized. Unless you are more specialized from a PG who has done this geotechnical engineering. There are slightly less opportunities available for geotechnical engineering and transportation even also. For, of course, site engineers, yes, you can get more opportunities. Site engineers, you can also get into this structural engineering field based on your qualification. But only thing is there would be some kind of the limitations, right? For example, if you want to act as a structural engineer, or if you want to start your own consultancy firm, and based on this BTech qualification, we would be given with a different kind of the license, structural engineering license, where we will not be allowed, or where we'll be just entitled to sign the structural designing safety, structural design safety of the building up to 5 floors. If it is more than 5 floors, no, BTech qualified people are not allowed. Not allowed in the sense, will not have a eligibility or a right to sign the structure stability when the structure height is, or structure number of floors are more than 5. Such kind of the limitations, such kind of the setbacks are available in all the specializations when you have a BTech qualification. If you want to make it more specialized, get into this MTech. Now you are more specialized, right? So if you are studying about the structural engineering, yes, you can stick to this structural engineering. And of course, based on this qualification, there is a best way, or there is the best opportunities. You also can act as an assistant professor who is going to teach the subject what they have learned from their qualification. Means this is also another opportunity, right? But I strongly recommend, see, if you can see this is site engineer, I intentionally have removed it. There is no site engineer. Site engineer in the sense, based on my experience, I'm suggesting that not to get into this site engineering field when you have a PG qualification or MTech or MSc, right? Then geotechnical, of course, if yours is a specialization in geotechnical, just please stick to it. And the transportation is, yes, stick to it. If you are a MTech or PG qualified, you are now going to specialize. You are going to specialize, or you are going to stick to a specialized knowledge in the specialized specializations, you can say specializations in the civil engineering, right? If you are a PhD qualified people, yes. Structural associate professor, yes, this is the most important factor for a PhD. And for the PhD people, these are anyway the doctors, right? Who are going to give a great suggestions, great decisions, or the great suggestions on any field, right? Who are going to take the final decisions, right? So you also can gain it. But I strongly suggest, I mean, I believe, based on my experience, I believe there is a huge demanding in this particular area. There is a huge demanding in this particular area, right? Focus on this area of qualification. Please just give me 15 minutes more time. Then I will just start answering your question. And then government, yes. Public sector, if you want to work in the private sector, yes, these are the private sectors. You can work anywhere. And I mean, you can act as a site engineer, as a software engineer when you are working for a private field. It can be abroad, it can be within India, or it can be working for a small consultancy or medium scale consultancies or MNCs. It is all depending on you. And it is all depending on the aim that you are putting forward, right? Yes, public sector. Yes, these are the opportunities available. Even especially in the oil sector, you can just get into this ONGC, IOCL, HPCL, and GAIL, right? You can just get the opportunities even in the government or public sector also, right? These are the opportunities one can aim to get into this. Let me just go to this skills. What are the skills required? Of course, the most of the information that was already discussed with you in the previous slides itself. However, now we can just go through here. Skills required, technical and non-technical skills. And technical skills, of course, technical skills. Just let me take draw. Okay, technical skills. Skills required, technical and then non-technical skills. Even the technical skills, yes, of course, technical skills. Like the most of the people are asking me or posting the messages in the chat box that they are more interested to learn this softwares. Yes, so there you require to improve your technical skills, not just by learning the software skills alone. You have to also be more strong in the theoretical knowledge. First you first try to grasp the theoretical knowledge, then try to think where we are going to practically apply that kind of the information or that kind of the knowledge that you have gained from the academics, right? So that is what actually the technical skill means. Technical skill does not just mean that's getting qualified. You have to get the concept from the content and utilize that concept or apply the concept, put them into the practice, in the real-time practice. Then only you can gain your confidence. Once you can gain the confidence, you will not need to worry about the opportunities. You are very skilled one. You are highly self-aware. You have a unshakable self-confidence that itself matters, right? And then the non-technical skills, you can say job skills test and situation judgment test and psychometric test. These are also the test that needs to be conducted, that needs to be attended or conducted by self to test your skills. How can I say now I know that the skills are required? How can I just assess that my skills are just meeting the requirement to get this opportunity? That is also more important. First thing is we must know that technical and non-technical skills are required, and these are the non-technical skills. And the next thing is we need to first verify or we need to test our skills. What extent we have the skills, based on that we can get the opportunities. Opportunities always exist in every field, especially in civil engineering field. Of course, a number of opportunities are available. Only thing is we first need to aim what we require it, and then once we can fix what we require, then we will be focusing on what basis it is depending what I require. It is depending on two things. The first thing is the thing what I am more desirous, and the second thing is the specialization which is having the more demand engineering. Two ways. So either you need to put maximum efforts to reach the demanding things, or the second way is you just going to adjust, or you just maybe enjoying what you require or what you are more interested or most connected with the specialization available in the civil engineering. It is depending on these two factors. One is the demanding things. You need to put more efforts to reach the demanding things are available in the demanding opportunities available in the civil engineering. And the second thing is the thing what you are more interested in. That might be having more demand or might be having the least demand. But thing is you are interested. Go ahead with it, right? So for any of those cases, whatever it is, you require the skills. Minimum skills are required, right? So job skills are like this. You can say job skills test and situational judgment test, psychometric test, technical skills, cognitive ability test, communication skills. In fact, all are very important. Very important. Of course, since it's civil engineering is a core field, technical skills are more important. More important are interviewers or employees will emphasize or conduct the test on technical matter, technical stuff more importantly, right? How to test one's skills to attain a goal? What is required? What is required is already said. And how are you going to test your skills to attain a goal? Aptitude test, yes, of course it is required. Aptitude test to assess the cognitive aptitude, which measures the problem solving ability. You need to know the problem solving ability. Means you need to build the ability of problem solving. Then critical thinking, attention to detail, and learning ability, right? So some occasions you need to say suddenly need to change. Suddenly you should be very flexible to change, or you should be having enough ability to just switch over into this another structural engineering, I mean, to design of another structure. So such kind of the ability can be tested by going through this aptitude test. Which is the source for verifying this critical thinking and attention to detail. Then personality test measure behavioral traits, tendencies that provide valuable information about a candidate job or and the culture fit, right? You also have to have a basic things or ethics. A personality test also important. How you are going to interact with your colleagues, how you are going to help others. All those also are important, are equally important, right? To attain your goal. The previous skills are technical and non-technical, and of course these are the interpersonal skills that require. Skills test, evaluate job. How are you going to test? How are you going to test your skills, right? There are the facilities, there are the opportunities also available. Opportunity in the sense for testing your skills. Evaluate job competencies from reading or math ability, typing, Microsoft Office, whatever it is. Let's get to the next slide. See, how are you going to cultivate skills? And we know that opportunities are available depending on the specializations. And we know that there are the skills that are required to reach the opportunities or to get into the opportunities. And we know that how to test our skills also. Testing our skills, testing our skills means we need to attend this mock test, or we also need to attend this online test. Attending all these kind of the test your skills. Once you are able to understand the original skills that you are having, then that will give you the confidence, or that will enable you to attempt getting these opportunities. Next thing is, you know the skills that are required. Now you know your own skill also. The next thing is, how are you going to cultivate the skills? We know opportunities are existing. We know that we have tested our skills, and then we have to now, when you know that we need to improve our skills or cultivate our skills, what do we need to do it? We have to do, or we have to just attend this different kind of this webinars or seminar or workshops, whatever it is. All these will be most helpful to you. Do not think that these are not useful. Each and everything is most useful. Sometimes when you're listening to one and a half hour lecture, sometimes you would be feeling more bored. But one thing is for sure, you should not expect that you are going to know the things which you do not know completely for one and a half hour. Most of the information that you are going to attend any kind of the seminar or webinar, you might know it. But only thing is, you will definitely come to know 3 to 5 vital points or most important points that will definitely change your life, that will definitely will enable you to change your perspective in the direction you are aiming for, right? So that is why, to improve or cultivate, you have to attend. So that is why even TheSmartBridge is encouraging and trying to conduct different types of the seminars and this webinars and seminars and the free sessions also to just guide the students, right? You have to do it. And then when attending This online or offline courses, yes, improve, keep on improving it. Constantly you need to improve. It is not limited. It is not limited. You should not just upgrade yourself until you get a job. Even after you get a job, you keep on improving your skills. You keep on improving your skills. Otherwise, we are going to get outdated. We are going to get outdated. Once you get outdated, I'm sure that next generation will overtake us. Next generation will overtake us. So that is why we keep on improving our skills. You need to retain the information. You need to retain the knowledge that you have gained, and you also have to take the additional information or gain the knowledge from it. Even though you are not just working on the same field, you try to get it. Then that kind of the interest, that kind of the additional information that you are gaining will definitely be most helpful to guide others or you to change your career path. Associating with the same group of people. Try to associate with the same group of people means not with the same group of people in the sense it doesn't mean that your classmates. It means that your common people having the same interest. You can say same interest. Some of the people are having more interested to get into the structural engineering field. When you are sharing your ideas, when you are sharing your interest with your friends, when they are also having the same aim and they are also interested to get into the same opportunities, you please try to be in contact together with them so that you will be gaining the information from them very short. I mean, in a short time, then you are going to reach your goal in a short period only. So that is why you try to be associated with the same group of people, means same interested people. Getting memberships also. You try to get the memberships. Get the memberships like a Institute of Engineers. You try to get the exam. That is just an example. And there are also some more things like iStrut. I can say iStrut and then Institute of Engineers. You please get registered. Once you're registered with that, you will be updated or you will be informed. You will be informed with the latest technology being developed in civil engineering, you can say, or the material developments or the whatever is happening with the civil engineering in the civil engineering field, that will be given to you, and you can even attend those seminars and those things also from Institute of Engineers, that to cultivate your skill or to improve your knowledge, right? So that can be is possible when you have when you can get this memberships, because you are trying to keep yourself, or you are trying to isolate yourself, or you are trying to make sure, or you are aiming more, you are more concerned about your aim. Try to stick yourself to your goal only, always go towards your goal, right? So that is why if you can just get these memberships in those institutions, then you will be updated with the latest information. Then you can change your direction, or you can improve your direction, or you can get or grab the opportunity, right? Then yeah, entrepreneurship in civil engineering. Why are we always focusing only on getting a job? Why are we getting or focusing only on jobs? Only on jobs. Entrepreneurship in civil engineering. Yes, obviously. And there are consultancies, there are the organizations who are led, those organizations led by a ordinary person, ordinary people, like who are just qualified with the basic qualification, have started their own firms or organizations, and they are now leading it. Do not always think that we have to always do a job. So there are opportunities. You can even get into this entrepreneurship field also. You can start up. You can start, or you can start your own business also. There are successful people, most successful people. So based on this concept only, we have started our organization, right? So I cannot say it is the easiest way, but if you want to start your business, entrepreneurship, especially based on my knowledge, especially in structural engineering field, so you can start your structural consultancy, right? So qualification, it can be a BE, or as I had said, there is a slight limitation to this BE or BTech people. And of course, even if you have a BE qualification, also you can start your consultancy, right? If you have a qualification of ME, MTech, that would be most advantageous. And then you can just get this structural engineer license from the municipality. You can get the structural engineer license from the municipality, right? So you can sign it. Means you can design the structures, you can even get it signed. Don't always think that you only have to do everything on your own. All the activities which are involved or which are entitled to accomplish one task, right? Means, for example, you have only BTech qualification, right? You don't have a structural engineer license, or the structural engineer license which we have can be useful only to sign only 3 floors buildings or 5 floors building hardly. Don't worry. You can try to tie up with others. You can try to associate with others who are slightly qualified or who are having more experience. You get them, be in contact with them. You get those sign. You can get those signature for the buildings that you are designing it, right? So that's why you never ever say that you have a setback or you have a limitation. First, proceed with it. You'll just find the path or find the way, right? Structural engineering license, you can get it. You can just start. You can just register your firm, which is I think so. It is very inexpensive. It can hardly require I think 5,000 to 8,000 rupees hardly. I mean just for firm registration. For structural engineering license, I think it might be all. It is depending on the location. It might require hardly 15,000 hardly, which will last for I think 5 years. 5 years, right? You can just start your consultancy firm, or you can even start your construction of buildings, right? Qualification also means if you are more interested to get into this construction field, qualification be it excellent. You can just get the builder license, and you can start your firm, your own organization. You can start your firm also, right? So can I say you something? These masons or mestris who are masons or masons, you can say people are able to lead. Masons, you can say mason or masonry, people they are leading 30 to 40 labor or unskilled person. They are able to organize. They are having these people management skills with them. They are constructing the buildings, even though they are not qualified, even though they are not having civil engineering background. Why don't we think, or why can't we do it when we have studied more and more about civil engineering? We studied it, we spent time, we are qualified fully. Then why can't we do, or why can't we construct the buildings? Why can't we choose this entrepreneurship, or why can't we start our own organizations, or why can't we settle well in the structural engineering field or civil engineering field? Please move out of this ideology that there are less opportunities in civil engineering. Don't think like that. There are opportunities. It is just best example that one mestri or one unskilled person is able to lead 30 to 40 labor, and he is able to mark the foundations, and he is able to execute the building up to 5 floors. See, he did not go through this civil engineering. He did not go through this qualification. He did nothing almost, you can say. But who is able, or who is having the capability to execute the structure, right? Construction of the buildings. He is earning better than a civil engineering, you can say. So that is why what I'm trying to emphasize is it is depending on what you think, what you want, right? You just think what you want, and you can get it. That you can get that. Opportunities, yes, it is exist. It is existing. Opportunities are existing, right? Right. So now I'm going to end my session. If there are any questions from this discussion, you please start asking me. I'll try to respond to all your questions from chat box. By what means you get a practical knowledge in civil engineering? Yes, Mr. Prasad. Yes, you can get the practical knowledge by just reaching this corporate training institutions. Yes, you can even, regarding this, you can even please contact SmartBridge, Mr. Vishnu. He will guide you better, right? You can just be in contact with the SmartBridge. They will support you. Of course, you can be in contact with me also. For builder license and apply in GHP with the BTech. Wait. I'm getting so many questions.
Yeah.
For builder license, apply in GHMC. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Hi, sir. Sorry to
Yeah, Mr.
interrupt
Vishnu.
in between. So, is this the final segment of the session?
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Vishnu.
Okay. So, can you also brief them through the remote internship program on civil engineering?
Yeah. Of course. Please pay attention. The one more most important thing that I would like to let you know is,
Yeah.
and in fact, of course, which is more important for you especially, and because most of the people are asking me how to get this practical knowledge. Yes, exactly. Dear all, just pay attention for a few minutes. We also are conducting this a kind of a remote internship. We know the present conditions. You may not be able to
Maybe
move out of your
you
homes.
can also show them the course content if you have, or
Uh, yes, let me try to show you this course content.
yeah. And in the meantime, I'll share the registration form link in the chat, guys, so that you can go through. Even the link has the course content, the price details, and everything. And one more point to notice, Mr. Shivaram sir is also going to be the speaker and trainer for the remote internship program on civil engineering. So this is one of the rare opportunities for you people to do an actual remote internship program in civil engineering, and very at that too at a very good quality content. So I'll leave it to Sivaram sir to explain you more on the remote internship program, what are the course contents and the deliverables that we're talking about.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mr. Vishnu. Yes, please let me talk about this remote internship, right? So before I'm going to talk about this internship, I just would like to also brief you about the activities or services that we are offering. So basically, based on my experience, based on my 14 years of experience, I had experience into the structural designs. Majority of my experience is complete into the structural designs. I had designs this thermal power plants, oil and gas, marine structures, means especially jetties, and this highway bridges, railway bridges, buildings, and this commercial buildings and residential buildings. So I'm in fact more fortunate, I can say, based on this my experience only, and we have started our own consultancy and this construction organization. In addition to these two services, we also are offering this training services in association with this SmartBridge, right? So this would be the best opportunity for you also. Just let me show you this few of the structures that we have designed. I also will let you know the syllabus content or the course content that we are going to offer or cover for internship people, for the people who are interested for internships, right? Just see, even in fact, we are running one more webinar very parallel to this. Just let me share my screen once again. Just one second.
Your voice is muffled.
Hello, is this clear now?
Clear, yes.
Yeah, thanks. Just let me show you the same slide. Dear all, can you just participants, can you just pay attention, and just going to let you know how are we going to explain our course contents. See, this is just a brief contents. Brief contents here. Design, it is just a part. This is a slide for a designing of a structure. So these are the things that require for designing a structure. It means how we are going to present our skills or how we are going to teach to a student. In fact, many people like associate professors also. We are running one more webinar, which is going to end by tomorrow. And there are more than 116 participants, 116, more than 116 participants who are attending these training sessions, right? Because most of them know that we are giving this a practical knowledge only based on our experience. We are not just the trainers, right? We are not just the trainers, we are the real-time people, means we have the real-time experience, and we are also having this construction and design services with us. So that is why based on the services which we are offering, we are going to share the same kind of the knowledge to the students, and the students and the participants who have posted in the chat box that they are more interested for gaining the practical knowledge. It is the best opportunity for you. Just let me show you some of the slides regarding the trainings, how we usually deal with it. So these are the design input details usually required for designing a structure, right? So see, everything we will let you know in a very clear manner. So what is that? What is required? How are we going to get? How much time it requires? And everything. What are the opportunities? Because this is only the job what we are doing it, right? So this is this is our job, what we are going to do it. So that is why we are more conscious and we are having enough knowledge on this area. So based on this only we are able to guide the students very well to design their career perfectly, right? These are the things that we have offered very recently webinar, the building materials, and this kind of the basic information also we will be sharing with you. So see, please pay attention. So one of the best topics is we are going to cover each and everything in our session. Means in our remote internship programs. In remote internship programs, we are going to aim, or we are going to cover the details from the theoretical concepts to the practical concepts, or how are we going to apply this theory into this practice. Each and everything will be very clearly explained to you, especially in structural engineering field. See, architectural drawings, MEP drawings, this entire information is required, and this entire information will be covered for your internship programs. MEP drawings, design basis report, what is this, and soil investigations report, and skills required for structural engineers, and this software skills, key terms, and this conventional ductile detailing,
each and everything, right? So of course, that is mandatory for a civil engineer. So please provide me your presentation link is extremely useful to students.
Mr. Murali Krishna, I hope definitely SmartBridge would revert back on this. They will definitely be in contact with you. They will do whatever you are expecting from them. When our engineers are aware about the BA service is outdated, once, so why not? Just let me go through it.
Can you please pay attention?
Stop posting charts for some time because it will be more
Interesting for you. Just let me show you how we design the structure. It is, and this material grade means we will also let you know, and whatever you have studied from this courses or from this theory, and we will once again recollect it. We will need you to recollect it, and we re-emphasize it, and we will let you know
where we are going to exactly using it in practical conditions. These are the properties, I mean, the stress and strain diagrams. We know. How many of you really know? How many of you really know or enough confident that you really are understanding the theory? That only the makes biggest difference. That only makes whether you are gaining the unshakable confidence in civil engineering. See the next slides. So how are we going to design? See, these are the things that you are going to share with you. Structure systems, structure designs, foundations, superstructure, how to design them. And you might have just learned about just finding out the bending moment diagrams and shear force diagrams. Now, my biggest question is, what is the use of finding out the bending moment diagram? I'm not just going to put you a question that what is the bending moment diagram formula, what is the shear force diagram formula, what is this slope, what is this point of contraflexion. Those are not my questions. My questions are why we are doing all these things. What are we going to get from it? How are we going to use these concepts? How are we going to interpret this information with the practical things happening at constructions, right? So those are the practical perspective which we will be covering in our remote internships, right? See, this is one of the elevations. See, this is the one of the elevations we have. So if you are just having this kind of the elevation, the plenty of questions which are creeping on my mind are, how are we going to execute it? What is this kind of the material? What is this material? How are we going to do it? How can we do? What is the equipment that is required for it? And what is this length? How can I just project it? How can one can execute this building when they are given with this kind of the elevation? And what is this material? What is this called? Right? What are these projections? How much projections can we have? All this information, each and everything. You can just start questioning anything from your internship programs. Everything will be very clearly explained to you, right? So if you are given, this is the one of the elevations, elevation of the buildings. Let me go back to the another slide. See this typical floor plan. So if you are given with this typical floor plan, that what are the things that you need to observe or you need to focus on it, and how are you going to design it? What are you going to understand from it? Everything. You can say any kind of the question. You can ask any kind of the questions. Why we are keeping these columns? Why can't we? How can we change the orientation of the columns? How are we going to use these concepts? How are we going to use these analytical concepts? Right? Moment distribution method, Canis method, and this of flexibility and stiffness method, and what kind of the methods that are going to be used in softwares, and all of them will be explained. Unless you come to know very in detail about all those theoretical concepts, we will not be gaining the enough confidence. Once you do not have the confidence, we have to feel, then we have to regret. For even though opportunities are available in the civil engineering, we are not so competent for gaining them or for getting them, right? Right, so architectural drawings, you can say, let me just clear it and see this parking areas. How can we fix this parking area? Right? Is this really explained in our engineering? No, I'm not going to blame the education system, but I'm telling you, it is now. See, even though if you blame someone else, you're not going to get anything. I'm sure of it. You're not going to get anything if you're going to blame someone else. But only thing is, we must be very clear. And there are the opportunities. There are the people who are going to support you. There are the people who are going to guide you. There are the people who are going to take care of you. Right? So everything is available. But only thing is, we must find out where they are. And the second thing is, we must stick to the words, or we need to just to follow their lectures or this trainings, right? So what are the loads that you are going to conduct? And this is also the part of this one internship program. So loads and then code books, lateral loads, window loads. When are we going to consider it? How are we going to consider it? See this. lateral loads, temperature loads. There are n number of things practically that are required for a structural engineer to design a structure. But unfortunately, most of the students are thinking that learning the softwares, maybe a Star Pro or ETAPS, is more than sufficient for settling in the career or engineering field. Please do not misunderstand, or please pay attention that, please come out of that ideology, right? There are people, or I can strongly say that most of the participants who are attending this webinar already know the softwares. If you know the software, if you're really qualified, in the sense, if you have already completed your graduation or you are doing your graduation, then why can't we gain the opportunity? Why can't we get into this opportunity? The biggest difference or biggest obstacle is we do not understand what exactly or how exactly it is working. We are just focusing only on the tool based concepts, right? So this gravity loads, lateral loads, what are the code books, what are the suggestions, and everything will be covered in our remote internship. Please pay attention. I'm sure that you are going to get enough, not enough knowledge, extreme knowledge from these internship programs, right? See this, I'm just showing you one of the slides which we usually use. See the dead loads, how we are going to estimate the loads, and the live loads for designing a structure, the Star Pro software, and each and every part of the structure like internal wall, external wall, staircase floors. All these must be well known to a civil engineer when they are learning the software. Learning of software does not mean that you are going to get the tool based knowledge, right? So that's why we are aiming to cover the syllabus like this. This is also included in our remote internship, right? Let me go to this. Even wind loads and seismic loads also included. Even wind loads and seismic loads. When we are not able to understand what is this bending moment or why we are doing it, how can we imagine that we are going to settle well in civil engineering field, right? So that's why everything must be known to you very in short time, and it has to be taught by a practical, experienced person. So we have with us, and we are going to cover this syllabus for you to improve yourself, or to improve your skills, which are most important to you. That is the primary reason why why the civil engineering graduates are not having enough confidence to get the job opportunities, because we are studying it, but we are not able to just implement or just apply these concepts in the civil engineering field. So that is the biggest drawback. So to gain such kind of the knowledge, you have to just start getting a kind of a job, and you need to struggle throughout your career to get the experience on your own. So to avoid this kind of the friction in our career, we are here who had already gone through, or who had already spent enough years of time for gaining this practical knowledge based on our experiences, are here to support you, to help you, to teach you, to guide you, to take you to the extent where you can do anything as you wish in civil engineering field, right? So these are the code book provisions we will be explaining you. Analysis and design will be carried out by software, and the load combination of the code books, and this will also be covered. So these are the load combinations. What are those load combinations? Why are we doing all these things? When do we need to consider? All right, and this is also a part of your syllabus. Footing designs, so columns designs, beam designs, right? And then fundamentals of the reinforcement footings. What is the minimum reinforcement in the footings and our columns and beams and slabs from the codal provisions. The conclusion of from this slide is we are going to give you the basic or fundamental information that is required to crack the interviews. We know how people are, how the employers would be conducting the interviews. We know what kind of the question they are going to conduct, right? You please remember that we are also going to cover this. We are also going to conduct this mock test for you to test your skills. We are going to give you the list of questions that are usually being asked in an interview to crash your interviews, right? So that is also part of your training program, or I can say remote internship. See this, these are the drawings. How are you going to understand the drawings? How are you going to execute this? See this. So these are the foundation drawings, and this is the execution, combined footing execution. So what are the mistakes here, or what are the observations that you are going to make? How are you going to understand it? How are they going to execute this structure on ground will also be explained to you. Everything keeping next to each other. The theory, practice, theory, practice, theory, practice. What you have studied, what is the what are the assumptions that you made it, or one has to make it, and then how are you going to implement this theoretical concepts into the practical considerations, and everything as mentioned in this slide will be very in detail explaining you.
Right? In detail explaining you. I also will show you one of the design documents that we have verified just to make you more interested on civil engineering. Right? So this is one of the column sizes and the foundations, the drawing details. This reading of these drawing details will also be included in our remote internship. This is the time for you.
This is the time for you to improve yourself. Once you lose your time, then we definitely have to feel regretted. So this is before concreting, then after concreting. Usually we used to take the students also to the construction activities. How are they going to keep this reinforcement? What is this diameter of reinforcement? What is this length? And how are they going to keep or erect this reinforcement? How are they going to maintain the distance between these two practically, right? What if they do a mistake? What if they commit a mistake wrongly, maybe in the dimensional point of view, maybe in the form of the reinforcement point of view? See, before concreting it and this after concreting it. What is this pedestal? See if you can notice it. This dimension is different and this dimension is different. This kind of the things also will be explained to you very well. And this is a slope kind of the footing. See, this is the slope footing. I think you might have observed from your design of RCC structures subject, right? Whatever you have studied from the text, that will be now implemented through the softwares, and from the software the output details in the form of the structural drawings will be given to you, and then I will even give you this enough construction photographs to you to make you understand the construction activities also. So what I'm trying to emphasize is, whatever we are going to teach, that is going to cover each and every information that is required to construct a building, from the beginning of reading the architectural drawing to the construction of the buildings, right? So how are you going to study the architectural drawing? What are the things that needs to be considered? Who is going to prepare architectural drawing? Who is going to do this elevation drawings? So how are we going to design the structure? See, it is easy just to imagining each and everything, but when it comes to the realistic condition, you will definitely have to face the n number of challenges, right? So that is why before you are going to enter into this realistic field and face those difficulties, we are here to explaining you the complexities that you are going to face, and we will even let you know the procedure, how to crack them, or what are the common things that one is going to go through it or face it, right? So these are the plinth beams and the section details. What are these plinth beams and what are these section details, and how are we going to prepare these drawings in the AutoCAD drawings? That is also part of your remote internship. And detailing of structural drawings, we will show you each and everything, the way how we are doing it. So what is this drawing here? What is this? What is this line? What is this? And what is this reinforcement here? And how are they going to connect to this? What is this centering? What is this size of this centering material? Are this a standard? Or if there are any different standards, who is going to fix up the standard? Is there any code book to it? And everything with the pictures will be explained to you through remote internship. Did you really understand the drawings from here? So if you really could have understood, I'm sure that you have enough knowledge. If you do not understand, then don't worry. But what you have to understand from here is, whatever you are teaching, or sorry, whatever you are learning is not sufficient to withstand this competition in civil engineering, competition in the market. So this is what actually the market is expecting from you. This is what the employer is expecting from you, because everybody is doing a civil engineering, uses civil engineering or PG civil engineering. Why people are not getting jobs in civil engineering? Because what market is expecting is this, but what we are learning is slightly different, right? Slightly different means slightly less. So there is a very, 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 very huge gap to bridge, to fill up that kind of the gap, or to bridge up. So TheSmartBridge is here to support you. TheSmartBridge is definitely certainly will help you to teach you each and everything, right? So this is the practical information one has to gain it during their education. Then you are very well done. Do not think that we will be learning only the software will give us enough confidence for gaining a job, right? So if you can gain this kind of the knowledge, I'm sure even there are no opportunities at some moment, I'm sure you do not feel worried, because I know that you are well satisfied with your qualification. well satisfied with your understandings, well satisfied from your from your educational background. First thing is you need to have enough satisfaction. First thing is you should know, or you should have to have enough satisfaction that you have understood the civil engineering. You have understood civil engineering. Once you really know, or once you are satisfied with your studies, that first gives you the confidence. Once you have the confidence, that makes you the path, that gives you the path to reach what you want, or to just grab the opportunity, right? Such kind of the gaining confidence, or such kind of gaining such kind of a unshakable confidence, one has to go to the practical information. That practical information is what I am showing now here. This is what is market is expecting from you. Let me just go to the next slides. See, how are they going to keep this reinforcement? The simplest questions are how much, what is how much amount of the steel? What is this diameter? Right? What is this spacing? What is this material? What is this width? And what is this chalk piece marks? Right? Why are they going to do it? How many people are required for pouring the concrete for it? What is the thickness of the slab? And what is the detailing? I mean, reinforcement arrangement in the drawings that we have studied from the engineering. Is this really that information that we have studied from the engineering is being followed here? Can you please check it? Can you please match it? So that is what the practical information is here. You will get definitely you'll get a internship certificate. So just let me just slide this details. This one and this one and this one, right? And just let me just Mr. Vishnu.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Vishnu, I'm done with this slide also. And they are having some, Lakshmi is saying that she needs some topics, list of the topics. I will share with you, Vishnu. Can you please share those list of topics to them? Mr.
Yeah.
Vishnu?
Yeah.
So is there a way that you can share with them? Can you please get those details otherwise?
1 second. So can you stop sharing your screen? I think I can show them.
Yeah. Okay, then no problem. I can just stop it.
I will respond to them.
Yeah. Sorry. Someone is talking about energy efficiency. Someone is talking about energy efficiency. Yes. In fact, when I was studying BTech Civil Engineering itself, the concept was there, energy efficiency. And when you are going, when you are preferring, as I had said, when you are more interested about your about a particular specialization, which might be having a less demand, especially energy efficiencies. So for energy efficiency, I believe there are less opportunities available in this, but I'm sure. But if you get an opportunity in this, that would be mostly related to that opportunity would be mostly available dealing with MNC organizations. And MNC organizations, you definitely get such kind of the energy efficiency concepts, but there are less opportunities available in it.
Sir, I think you can walk them through the course structure.
Yeah, please.
And also we have the structure execution.
Someone asked me the list of topics. These are the list of the topics, or you can say, can I scroll it?
Yeah. You want to start program content?
Yeah. Just can you just scroll up? Yeah.
You can see that it is a 6-week program.
Participants, can you please? Participants, can you please look into this slide? This
guys, anyhow, this is there in the link. This is there in the link that I'm sharing you. So even you can go through it as I'm talking. This is the Google Form link. So it's all.
Fantastic.
Yes, sir, please.
Participants, please pay attention. This information or this details already shared with you. Once again, you can go to this these details, and just let me brief you about this. So there's the list of program. The objective is mentioned. Program content also here. Especially we are focusing on this Start Pro. It is up to you. Either you can use this Start Pro, or you can even use this ETABS also. But under this Start Pro, these are the contents that we are going to cover, like each and everything, like explanation of Start Pro input data methods, and then how to design this 3D system, and then how to use this shortcut keys available in it, and how can we design a structure using this Start Pro. If it is a live building, right, we will be explaining you the live building also. Axial forces, uniaxial, biaxial, bending moment, shear forces, point of control flexures, continuous beams, fixed supports, roller supports, everything that is trying to creep your mind will be resolved. Will be resolved to you, no problem, right? Mr. Vishnu, can you please scroll it? Yes, some more, Mr. Vishnu.
Yeah, someone is asking what if you have exams during internship. So don't worry. So the program, it is going to be like 3 hours per day. 1 second, let me mute my background. Yeah, can you hear me now? So the eligibility, there's no as such eligibility criteria. If you are from a civil engineering background and if you feel that this is the internship that is right for you, like basically it is typically for civil engineering background. There is no eligibility criteria as it is a commercial program. And yeah, I was talking about the intern exams, right? So it is going to be a 5 days per week, and you can see that 3 hours per day training is going to be given, so that if you miss any classes also, they're going to be recorded videos of the live classes that you'll get access to later on. So you need not worry if you miss any classes, and it's project based delivery system. Shivram sir is going to be the trainer for that, so you'll be getting access to the platform also. As you can see the course contents in this form. Yeah, the total fee structure is being 4,500 inclusive of all taxes. So you'll be getting a payment link after you submit your. So if I press next year, typically it will take you towards the like the form, your email, college. If you all fill these details, you'll be getting a payment link which is asking for an initial payment of 1,500. So you have to pay an initial amount of 1,500, book your slot, and before joining the course, you can pay the full amount. So that's how it works. Let me just. Yeah, so maybe you can walk them through any other specifics of the program. And this is the execution methodology: training, assessment, individual learning, team-based project. Okay, I think you should answer this. Like Mohammed has been very like giving but how can Group 1 officer being civil engineering graduate be his own company? So do you want to take this question?
Yeah, of course, Mr. Syed. But how can one group one officer being a civil engineering graduate be own his company as startup? But how can one group officer being a civil engineering how the same thing? Yes. Yes, of course, Mr. Muhammad. It is not really so challenging that you can really do it, right? But only thing is, if you have if you are just going to start from based on your, once after your education qualification, then definitely you have to face, you have to go through the challenges, or I can even say this friction, kind of a friction that you need to go through it, right? So you have to withstand such kind of the friction that is going to be developed when we are inexperienced. So that is what actually is going to be called as an experience for you. You can start your, I just can suggest you, in your locality, you please go to a local consultancy, you please discuss with them. They will just give you the very good information to you. I'm sure the most of those structural engineers who are running a small scale firms, they are just diploma qualified people only. They know the procedure, they do it. They are doing it well, right? So it is not so challenging when people who are having this diploma qualification itself are able to run their own consultancy. Why can't we do it? We can do it. BTech